Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of the In the Ring Show with your host, Devious Damien. Now I'd like to start off this video by apologizing to TobiasBoonBackwards. He asked me to do this video about my opinion on the WWE erasing the Attitude Era, or at least attempting to. He asked me to do this a few weeks ago, and I would like to apologize to TobiasBoonBackwards for not getting to this video sooner. I've just had a lot of things going on, so I wasn't ignoring you. I did not forget. As you can see, I have not made any videos since then, so it's not like, I've just been ignoring you and, just doing everything but your request. I'm getting to it now, so I apologize for not getting to it sooner. So, like, as I stated, he asked me to do my opinion on the WWE, pretty much trying to erase, or pretty much have erased, the Attitude Era. So, my opinion is that it's bullshit, and it's all fucking political, and it's gotta stop. Okay? Because the reason they're trying to do this is, because Linda McMahon's Senate campaign, they're trying to get her to win, so they're trying to remove any controversial footage that they have. However, the problem is that the WWE, I highly doubt, no matter how big of a company they are, can go through the entire internet and take away every single video that shows Linda McMahon in a negative light. Alright, if you do a Google search on Linda McMahon fires Jim Ross, you can still find videos out there that show her kicking him in the balls and firing him, which, obviously show Linda McMahon as, a cruel, heartless woman, who doesn't care about firing people. I'm not saying that's the person that she actually is. I'm just saying that could be used against her, to show that she's not afraid to play that kind of character, and that may be the kind of person she actually is. It could be construed that way. That's all I'm trying to say. Quite frankly, I want Linda McMahon to lose this damn Senate race. And then after she loses, I want her to quit so the WWE can, stop with this overly PG bullshit, which is the only reason they're trying to erase the Attitude Era in the first place. You see, okay, even though I'm not a huge fan of the PG era by any means, I will admit, because of children, I do think the PG era has its place, especially considering the new start, the way Raw has been starting at 8 o'clock for the past few months, and has been a 3-hour show. However, here's how I would break down the show. The first half, from like 8 to 9:30, I would have, all the PG stuff, maybe march Brodus Clay out there and have him do his little dance and, blah, 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 blah. Even march John Cena out there with his Mickey Mouse bullshit. Have him close, like, the first half of the show. Get all the PG shit out of the way. From 9:30 on, when all the kids who the PG era is for should be in bed, okay, that's when you have the slightly edgier stuff. You can put guys on like a CM Punk, a Randy Orton, and stuff like that, and you can actually have them doing edgier things. Now I know some of you are going to listen to that comment and you're going to say, well, Damien, they can't recreate the Attitude Era. This is true. Especially when you consider that there's only 4 wrestlers that are still in the company that still wrestle, whether it's full-time or part-time. Those 4 being Christian, Triple H, The Rock, and The Undertaker. Now, 3 out of the 4 were some of the main characters of the Attitude Era. However, you still had several other players that, you're not going to see in the WWE much. You had your Stone Cold Steve Austins, Mankind, The Rock. Oh, I already said The Rock, I apologize. But you get the point. There were several players in the Attitude Era that are not there now. So recreating the Attitude Era is going to be next to impossible. However, you can do something similar to it, because you can use guys like a CM Punk, a Randy Orton. Hell, if you could actually get John Cena to go back to the days when his character actually had edge, when he had, no pun intended to WWE Hall of Famer edge, but when his character had attitude, when his character had some balls, back before he became this Mickey Mouse boring bullshit guy that, you just get tired of listening to because, like I said, he looks and sounds like he should have Mickey Mouse ears on his fucking head every time he cuts a promo. And, okay, I'll admit I support his, breast cancer thing. I support the WWE in that. The only problem I do have with it, though, is I think they're kind of overdoing it a little. Okay, the pink rope, the little logo on the ramp. Okay, I can get, that's fine. But Jesus Christ, when you have John Cena marching down there week after week after week, okay, when he's pink this, pink that, Jesus Christ, sometimes I'm starting to wonder, he's wearing so much pink lately, I'm starting to wonder if he's going to grow his hair out, wear all pink, and try to make us think he's the modern day Bret Hart, for fuck's sake. I mean, I support the whole breast cancer thing, but the WWE is shoving it down our throats week after week after week, and exposing it to the degree that they do. It's going to kind of, in my opinion, it's going to end up watering down the message in the first place. And people are going to get tired of it, and they're going to start rejecting the whole idea. But, but back to what I was saying before. If you could actually get John Cena to go back to the day when his... and you don't even necessarily have to turn him heel to do this. Even as a babyface, when he was wearing the throwback jerseys, and doing all this stuff, people actually liked him because his character had balls. He had some attitude to it. That's what I liked about it. Then when he slowly but surely started drifting away from that, that's when people started not liking him much anymore, because he slowly but surely got watered down to what you see today. And the other thing that I think the WWE could do that the Attitude Era did was even mid-carders and undercard guys, even they actually had spots. Remember Kai and Tai? Two guys that were big time in the undercard, but guess what? They actually were featured somewhat prominently for undercard guys, and they were fucking entertaining. Especially the shit they did with the APA. You're gonna tell me you didn't find that shit entertaining as fuck? And especially them coming out and sort of, mocking the whole old school kung fu movies. With the whole, their English is going, the English stops but their lips are still moving, and they're pretending to speak Japanese and it's being translated into English and stuff. I mean, that stuff was awesome. I mean, and the other thing I miss from the Attitude Era is tag teams being featured. The APA, the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian. Just to name the New Age Outlaws, just to name a few. And the other thing I think the WWE is missing the boat on, that it could somewhat try to recapture from the days of the Attitude Era, is, the Attitude Era helped create stars that might not have ever been created had it not been for the Attitude Era. In the Attitude Era, we saw guys like The Rock, Triple H, the New Age Outlaws, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mick Foley. We all saw guys that had kind of been there before, but they just need to take that slight step up to the next level. And because of the Attitude Era and the things that the WWE was doing at the time, it allowed those guys to take that next step. And it was a very good thing. Because I honestly believe that had it not been for the Attitude Era, had it not been for the formation of the Generation X, which, in my opinion, really launched Triple H's stardom, if it hadn't been for that, I'm not so sure Triple H would be the star he is today. And other guys that were, you know, the kind of undercard guys that weren't really doing anything until the Attitude Era. Billy Gunn, the Road Dogg, like I said, the New Age Outlaws. Where were they before the Attitude Era? They were just kind of nobodies, just kind of floating around, not doing shit. All of a sudden they get put together. The Attitude Era, boom. You know, you got two stars born right there. And, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, he was on his way to stardom before the Attitude Era, but during the Attitude Era, boom, it was like he had like somebody shoved a rocket up his ass, and he was going nowhere but up. And it was like that for about 2 to 3 years. And, you know, and there were several guys during the Attitude Era that, in my opinion, really, got their careers launched. You know, The Rock is another one. You know, people were rejecting The Rock, you know, for a while, and then he became heel. And then, you know, people started seeing that he was a cool heel, and then, you know, his career also took off during the Attitude Era. So, the point is, I know the WWE cannot fully recreate the Attitude Era because of they don't have the guys that they had back then to do it. But they can take certain elements from it and, you know, try to do it again, you know, in a different way. You mean to tell me that the WWE cannot, you know, try to create more stars? They can, they just won't. Okay? Like the last hour and a half, which, you know, like I said, you show more edgier stuff. You know, you don't necessarily need to have the divas going out there half naked and, you know, doing all these things. You can have edgier storylines without all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. Like I said, you know, this is where guys like, you know, maybe have Drew McIntyre, Yoshitatsu, you know, stuff like this. You know what you could do? Get Yoshitatsu, a Japanese tag team partner, and try to redo something kind of like Kai and Tai. You know, like I said, that's the, for those of you who don't remember, Kai and Tai was that, like I said, they were that Japanese tag team. They came out and they kind of did the whole poking fun at the old kung fu movies where their lips are moving after the English stopped, you know. But that stuff was fucking genius. It was funny as fuck. And you mean to tell me that the WWE can't do that again? You know, I'm not saying they have to copy it entirely, but do something similar to it. I mean, I believe Yoshitatsu, if you put him in a tag team, especially with another Japanese wrestler, could be extremely entertaining if given the proper platform. And that's the problem right now with this whole PG era, is that I think Vince is afraid to give certain guys their proper platform because they have nothing, because, well, you know, they're not, I don't know if it's not that they're PG enough, or that they don't project the same Mickey Mouse image that John Cena presents. And, you know, that's one of the problems with the PG era. I mean, yeah, I admit it has its place, but it's being shoved down our throats way too much. You know, so I think that the WWE kind of ignoring their past and trying to get rid of the Attitude Era and act like it never existed is a big mistake. Because the Attitude Era is one thing that captured fans in the first place. You know, some fans had kind of grown tired of the WWE and were watching WCW when the NWO was hot. Why? Because the NWO was something that the WWE was not doing. It was that attitude, it was that fire that, you know, the WWE at that time lacked. And then suddenly a light bulb went on over Vince's head and said, okay, we've got to stop all this this stupid crap we're doing, and we've got to get edgier. We got to grow some balls. We got to have some attitude, you know. And hence the Attitude Era was born. And although you can't recreate it entirely, I believe you can have, you know, on a lesser scale, some recreation of it. You know, just, you know, newer stars. Use your CM Punks. Use Randy Orton. You know, use Dolph Ziggler. You know, heck, you could even turn Brodus Clay heel and put him on that if you wanted to. I mean, I'm not saying that And yeah, speaking of turning Brodus Clay heel, another thing I want to touch upon in this video is, if you read Bleacher Report, there's been talk of Brodus Clay's gimmick going to be changing, because allegedly Vince McMahon is growing tired of the Funkasaurus gimmick, and he wants to change it. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I mean, on one hand, I do think the Funkasaurus gimmick kind of puts a lid on where Brodus can go as far as being taken seriously. You know, as far as being like a threat for championships. But on the other hand, you know, it is, you know, I think it's kind of cool that, you know, he gets the kids involved. The kids enjoy the character. You know, the kids get to go in the ring and they get to dance with him. You know, and I get that the WWE, you know, is trying to be for kids. They want the kids to have fun. And Brodus Clay does fill that role. But, you know, but I do think eventually you do have to turn Brodus Clay heel. I mean, especially if you actually want Brodus Clay to do something in the company. Because if all you do is you go out there and, you know, dance with kids and do all this, no matter how over you are, you know, there's only so far you can go. And I'm not just shitting on Brodus Clay. I have further proof of this sort of thing. Remember Rikishi? I mean, yeah, he was the Intercontinental Champion for a while, but, I mean, let's face it, you know, a guy who was out there having fun, you know, dancing, doing a move called the Sting Face, you know, and all that comedic stuff. Yeah, it was entertaining, but let's face it, was he ever going to be seriously considered for a WWE Championship run? No. In fact, I'm going to let you, you know, as far as what Rikishi did, I'm going to tell y'all something. To my knowledge, and somebody can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but the entire time Rikishi was in the company, I believe he had one WWE Championship match. One. And, you know, Triple H did a good, and I'll give Triple H credit, he did a good job of making Rikishi look like he could beat him. You know, and I'm not saying that Rikishi isn't tough. I'm not saying that, you know, he had no place, but it's just gimmicks that involve dancing and having fun and are targeted for kids. You know, they're not going to be taken seriously. Honestly, the only reason John Cena gets taken seriously is because of the merchandise he sells. You know, and the reason he sells the merchandise is because of the kids. Which is all well and good. And I understand that the WWE is targeting the kids because, you know, they get higher-end corporate sponsors. They're more accepted by parents and blah, 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 blah. Okay, I get that. But what I believe the WWE needs to start doing is do a little something for everybody. Satisfy every fan across the board. You know, satisfy the parents who want to see, you know, good role models for their kids. You know, and the children. Use the first hour and a half, like I said before, to do all that stuff. Use the next hour and a half to give us, you know, give us men the shit we want to see. Give us, you know, the edgier storylines, you know. You know, quit with the fucking Disney Channel bullshit. You know, and I shouldn't just say only men want to see that. I'm sure there are some women out there who probably feel the same way. They probably get sick of some of the PG bullshit that, you know, they see week after week after week. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm sure some women are tired of seeing John Cena go out there and, like I said, cutting promos as if he's wearing Mickey Mouse ears on his fucking head. Because he's so Disney Channel-like. For Christ's sake. You know, John Cena is so Disney Channel-like. If Hannah Montana were still around, I wouldn't be surprised to see little Miley Cyrus trotting out there, you know, and doing like some little duet with John Cena, for fuck's sake. But thank God Miley doesn't do that Hannah Montana bullshit no more. Jesus. But I'm just saying, if she did, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But enough about that. So, you know, in closing, yes, I do think that the Attitude Era being erased, big mistake. It's political and it's bullshit. And a lot of things that WWE have been doing lately are purely political. And it needs to stop. And I sincerely hope that Linda McMahon loses this Senate race. Excuse me, so maybe, just maybe, someday the WWE will get a clue and they'll at least make some attempt to, you know, have some kind of attitude again. You know, for wrestling fans who are tired of the PG era, I hope this happens. For this edition of the In the Ring Show, this is Devious Damien signing out. Good night, everybody.